So today, we're going to learn how to play Quoridor Pac-Man. We have two versions of this game, and we're going to cover both of them in this video. We're going to start with the Quoridor version, or the base version, and then we'll move on to the Pac-Man edition. Same board, different rules, but a lot of fun, so stick around for both. Let's get into it. Here's what's in the box. The game board. It's a 9x9 square grid board. One Pac-Man piece. 4 ghost pieces, Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. 4 power pellets. 20 wooden wall tiles. And 3 Pac-Man life tokens. So let's start with the base version of the game. Here's how you set it up. If you're playing a 2-player game, player 1 places their ghost in the middle square of their back row. Player 2 does the same on the opposite side. Middle square, opposite back row. You're now facing each other across the full length of the board. And for a 4-player game, players 3 and 4 do the same on the 2 empty sides of the board. In a 2-player game, each player gets 10 wall tiles. If there are 4 players, each player gets 5 wall tiles. You're now ready to play. Decide who goes first however you want, and then move clockwise or anti-clockwise. It's up to you. The objective for each ghost is to reach the line opposite your baseline. It doesn't have to be the middle square. Any of the 9 squares on that row counts. Seems simple, right? But it isn't that straightforward. On your turn, you can do one of 2 things. You can move your ghost, or you can place a wall. You cannot do both in the same turn. Your ghost can move 1 square, up, down, left, or right. You cannot move diagonally. Now, there is a special move. If your opponent's ghost is on a square directly next to yours with no wall between you, you can jump over them. Your ghost lands on the square directly behind theirs, essentially moving 2 squares instead of 1. If there is a wall behind your opponent, or the edge of the board is right there, you can't jump over them. If you would choose to place a wall tile, you take one of your tiles and slot it into the grooves on the board. Each wall covers exactly 2 square gaps, and you can place it either horizontally or vertically. One important rule about placing walls is you cannot place a wall that makes it completely impossible for an opponent to reach their destination line. There must always be at least one possible path for them. Even if that path is really long and painful, they have to make the journey. Let's look at this situation as an example. The red ghost player cannot put a wall tile here, as that would completely block off the blue ghost from reaching its destination line. But in this situation, the player can put a wall tile as there is still a possible path for the blue ghost to get to its destination line, no matter how long it is. The first player to reach one of the 9 squares opposite their base is the winner. Okay, before we move on to the Pac-Man edition, here are a few tips and tricks for the base version. Don't use all your wall tiles in the first few turns. It feels powerful to start blocking immediately, but if you burn through all your wall tiles early on, your opponent can just keep moving freely while you have nothing left to respond with. Space them out. The center column is the shortest path from your side to theirs. You know it, your opponent knows it. Expect it to get blocked. Go in with a backup route already in your head. Count your opponent's walls. If they've used most of theirs and you still have several left, you have a big advantage in the endgame. Now, let's take a look at how to play the Pac-Man edition of the game. In this version, the rules for Pac-Man and the ghosts are not the same. Pac-Man must eat all 4 power pellets before it runs out of its 3 lives, while the ghosts have to eat Pac-Man 3 times before it eats all 4 power pellets. This setup is different from the base version of the game. Pac-Man goes in the center of the board. The ghosts are placed where they start from in the base version. The power pellets are placed one square inwards, diagonally from the corners. Wall tiles are placed here like this. One thing to note is that in this version of the game, walls cannot be moved, nor can more walls be added onto the board. Now, players pick roles. One player plays Pac-Man. The other player or players share out the 4 ghosts. The player playing Pac-Man takes the 3 Pac-Man life tokens and places them aside. These symbolize the 3 chances he or she has to eat all the power pellets. The player playing Pac-Man goes first. Pac-Man always moves 2 squares, either horizontally or vertically, or even both, but not diagonally. If Pac-Man eats a power pellet, it gains a special power boost and can move 3 squares instead of 2, but only for that one turn. And if Pac-Man can manage to land on a square with a ghost on it during that special turn, the ghost is eaten and is removed from the board. Onto the ghosts. After Pac-Man moves, each ghost takes a turn to move 1 square, either vertically or horizontally. Now the ghosts also have a special ability. If a ghost has Pac-Man in their line of sight at the start of their move, they go into frenzy mode and can move 2 squares instead of 1. Note that a ghost does not block another ghost's line of sight. However, a wall does, so ghosts cannot see through walls. If a ghost reaches a square where Pac-Man is placed, Pac-Man loses a life and must discard one of its life tokens. The game is then reset, and you must return Pac-Man and the ghosts, even the ones that were eaten, to their starting positions before starting the next round. Pac-Man wins the game if it eats all 4 power pellets. The ghosts win if Pac-Man is eaten 3 times and runs out of its Pac-Man life tokens. And that is both versions fully covered. Base Quoridor if you want the pure strategy experience. Pac-Man Edition if you want that same strategy with power pellets, throwing a spanner in every plan you make. Both are great, honestly. The Pac-Man version just has slightly more chaos, and we are always here for chaos. Any questions about the rules, drop them in the comments. We do read them. Subscribe if you want more game guides and more husband versus wife content. See you in the next one.